Goddamn chair squeaks like crazy. Steven, what's up, man? I'm late by 6 minutes. 6 minutes. To be perfectly honest with you, I was logged out of the Streamlabs, so I had to fix it. How are you here? And it still says, oh, there we go. Now the viewer's updated. Yeah, it took me a while, and I got off work late, but that sounds like excuses. How's my audio before we start getting going? Is it loud enough? Is it quiet enough? Wow. What now? Get a Mew one. What are you talking about? Sounds good to you. Okay, cool. The chat on here is really slow, so bear with me. No, I don't want to. What are you doing? Sorry, I'm new. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to go over with everybody that's here, the one person that we've got here, Steven, I appreciate it, is there was a lot of questions on HitFilm Express versus HitFilm Pro. I see a lot of you guys in the comments are I guess there's a huge question about how there's a large delay. I was talking about your chair squeaking. Yeah, there is a alert. I'm really slow. Like the audio versus video on the stream. I mean, am I slow mentally or there is 3? Yeah, Okay, moving forward. So the first thing I wanted to go over is there's been a lot of comments, especially on the YouTube channel, about the difference is between HitFilm Pro and HitFilm Express, a lot of the add-on packs. And so I went ahead and we are going to start off with a lot of some HitFilm Express stuff. And I guess a lot of people are having some issues with trying to figure out what is and is not part of HitFilm Express. Obviously the biggest thing that you guys can look at is if it's got this big green add-on button. That is going to, be a dead giveaway on what's an add-on and what is not. Now, the thing is with HitFilm Express, you are still going to be able to use that effect when you are editing videos in HitFilm Express, but there is going to be a watermark the moment you use that, and it is going to show up on your export. So your final video of your project, if you use a effect or a transition or anything in this effects list that has that green add-on button, it is going to show up as a watermark. So if we actually add a we can even just go in and into a composite shot, and I can kind of show you what I mean. I'm going to add a new plane layer, make it white, because I don't remember what color the watermark is. But if we just pick just a random chroma key, there we go, and apply that, what it's going to do is, there we go, down to the bottom right of your project, you're going to get a watermark on the, and it doesn't matter what you do, you can't change this at all. It will always be there. And so even if you go and try and export, just the scene selection or just a specific part of that video, you're not going to be able to key that out. You're not going to be able to put an effect over the top of it. It is, a watermark. It's there for a reason. And so that's really all there is to it with the add-ons. I'm I don't really want to go into a whole lot of detail with that because, like I said, my version of HitFilm Express, before I purchased HitFilm Pro, I did buy some add-ons. So I do have a few packs. I think I've got like the audio pack or one of the audio packs anyways. Yeah, because I think, if I remember right, there's a few of these audio effects that are add-ons only, or they come with HitFilm Pro. And I remember I purchased, this is a while back, I remember purchasing an audio pack with that. And so a few of those are, like I said, they're add-ons, but they're not going to have that green button, because the moment you purchase that, it's going to take that green button away. So let me see if I can actually bring up this web page without showing a bunch of personal info. I don't know if I'm logged in or not. That's why I exited out the first time really quick. Yeah, okay, so I'm not logged in. All right, that works. Okay, so anyways, click on one of the green add-on buttons. It's going to open up the browser and go to the FX homepage, and it's going to show you the kit that add-on is within. And so you're going to be able to purchase the kit that's in that. So like, what did we actually click on? I think it was the chroma key, wasn't it? Yeah, the chroma key is by itself. So it's $19.99 to purchase the chroma key by itself. But if we went into something that's inside of a kit, let's go into like geometry, click bevel. See, there it goes. The 3D generate kit is going to give you bevel, rotate, bend, and extrude. And so that's going to be where you can go to buy a lot of those kits. But of course, if you add up the price of all of the add-ons, it is still cheaper just to buy a year's worth of HitFilm Pro. You said chat was slow, so I say you're slow. Doze gore. I could easily do that. Are you having like are you not able to type properly, or am I just not reading it right? Because it seems like you can't really type properly. But that's just me. Sean and Steven are the only two in the chat right now. It's sad. Probably because we don't stream often enough, and so a lot of our subs are don't really know that. I put a community post up, though, I think on Wednesday night, and all of our social media. So it went out. Everybody knew about it. Or there was a bunch of people that knew about it. At least they saw it. So yeah, you guys have any questions on HitFilm Express, please shout at me. Or HitFilm Pro. We can always boot up HitFilm Pro and go through some of that stuff, too. But I know a lot of these effects on those add-ons. That was just a simple little question that I think I've seen in the YouTube comments quite often, is wondering why it's on there, how to get rid of it, this and that. I know there's some videos. Expose my personal info. Yeah, I'm trying not to do that. That's why I pulled that window out, because I couldn't remember if it was automatically logged in or not. But it wasn't, so we're good. But yeah, and now I sound like a broken record, but it's with the, what the hell was I at? So you're distracting me. Oh, the add-ons, of course, the whole purpose of this. With the comments, there was a lot of people asking, hey, how do you get rid of this watermark? How do you, get around that? Well, you don't. The only way for you to get around the watermark is to either purchase the add-on or to purchase HitFilm Pro. I do not condone in any way, shape, or form piracy, and that's exactly what that is. And so if you, want to use HitFilm and all of its awesome, cool little features, go ahead and pay for it. If you don't, then I would probably recommend finding a different video editor that you don't have to pay for. How do I make a box for rotational plastic molding? HitFilm Express and Pro probably won't be the programs for that. But we could always take a look at Fusion 360, because that is most definitely the program to do that in. But before we do that, there was another couple comments, so there was another string of comments that I wanted to address in Inkscape before we jump onto HitFilm Pro, or Fusion 360. We've got too many programs going on right now. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that And we're going to open up Inkscape real fast. Well, as fast as Inkscape's going to want to open. Oh, and of course, I've got the new dark theme with the new icons. If you guys, I'm going to move this over here because it's really distracting and I think it's in your guys' way. If you guys want to know how to do this, I've got a YouTube video up actually on how to change the dark theme, how to change these icons and a whole bunch of settings. And so we will put a link in the comments if you guys want to find that. Or it should be like the very first video on our videos list on YouTube right now because I think it was the most recent one. So anyways, the comment or the question that I've been getting asked quite a bit recently is the difference between JPEG and an SVG file, and why those two file formats scale differently. And so I'm just going to go ahead and grab a random image that is a JPEG. I think we can use this one. And if we scroll into this, this is a JPEG image. Of course, as you can see, it does not scale worth a darn. You zoom into it, or if you actually Control Shift and scale that way up, you can see it does the exact same thing. It starts to pixelate and deteriorate. Well, the thing is with a JPEG, it is just, they don't scale well. They don't scale well at all. And that's why you use a SVG format, because it's a vector graphics format. And so the difference between that is if I grab an SVG file, which is actually a save file for Inkscape, there it goes. First, I need to get Steven's permission to show this. Steven, do you mind if I use a Misfit Mental logo? Is that okay with you? Since he's here, I can just ask him. If not, I can always find a different file to show people. Yes, no, maybe, possibly. I give you to the count of 100,000, or I'm just going to do it. Okay, well, he's not saying anything, so we're going to pick a different SVG file. Ooh, what was that? Steven with the $5. You are awesome, man. Thank you so much. That is wonderful. Oh yeah, he said that's cool. I'm sorry, guys. The chat is like way behind here. And I know it's kind of a slow start here, but we'll get there. We'll get there together. Cool, we'll do. Yep, we are opening it as we speak. Okay, so I opened up another, because when you open an SVG file, it's going to open as basically an Inkscape save file. And so this is an SVG as opposed to the other one, which is a JPEG. Now, if you are wanting a file that is going to scale really well, a PNG is really what you're going to want. Of course, PNGs have their limits too. It's not like you can just take a PNG and, you know, have 100 pixel by 100 pixel and then make it the size of a billboard. It's going to be distorted and terrible, just like a JPEG will be. The thing is, with the SVG file format, if we scroll in, it does not matter how far you scroll in, those lines will always remain sharp and clean and crisp. And that's just because Inkscape is actually reformatting that line so we see it clear and crisp, no matter how far you zoom in, no matter how big or how small you make this. And you can make it so small that it inverts too, because Inkscape doesn't know what to do. But yeah, that's really the difference between the SVG, the JPEG, and the PNG. Obviously, there's, you know, codexes and little nuances between the JPEG and the PNG. But the big difference between the SVG file and a JPEG is just a holder for an image, and the SVG is really kind of a save file. So kind of think of it that way, as opposed to, you know, two different image formats. No, I don't want to save that. And so that's really the big thing. Now, if you were wanting to remove and have transparency in your image, then a PNG is the image to use. Because with a JPEG, you can't have any sort of transparency in it, unfortunately. And just an example of that, if we bring in like this image here, obviously there's no sections of transparency until we, you know, create something that has transparency in it. And so by eliminating, did not want to clip that. By, you know, removing the background, I think I've got 2 or 3 or 4 videos on how to remove a background of an image, which is, it's the same process no matter what you use. If you use, you know, like creating a bitmap and doing it that way, I've gone over this a 1,000 times of doing that, but doing it manually, yes, it takes a lot more time, but you're going to get a lot better results when you're doing that. When you export an image out of Inkscape, you're exporting images as a PNG file. And so you're not exporting as, so if you see here, export PNG image, it'll bring up your export PNG image layout. And so the thing is you're not actually changing this JPEG file into a into an SVG until you save it as a Inkscape file. And so when you bring up your little browser where you've got all your files saved, it will show as a, you know, an Inkscape SVG file. And you can load that into any program that you want to that uses SVG files. So, Steven, yes, I think that was the last like major comment that I wanted to address on the YouTube comments. And you were, what specifically were you wanting to see in Fusion 360? Because we definitely do not have time to sit down and model an entire plastic container. Are you like making trash cans? Do you like, is that what you're trying to do? We can always bring up Fusion 360. Do I not have... Am I blind? What in the world did I do with the Fusion 360 launcher or the shortcut? Oh, it's right in front of my face. Okay. So Autodesk Fusion 360 is a wonderful program, and I don't have any how-to videos on the channel up quite yet. It is going to be coming soon, I promise. Don't play dumb with me, sir. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I really didn't in the, you know, 8 icons that I have on that part of the monitor. Anyways, Fusion 360 is a 3D CAD programming, or it is a 3D modeling program. It is for mechanical drawing or mechanical drafting, mechanical modeling more. And it's actually kind of, if you guys have ever heard of Autodesk Inventor, it's kind of a, I don't want to say dumbed down version, because it's still a very powerful tool. This one, of course, is for personal use, not for commercial use whatsoever. And so the moment you try and use this to make money, you can't do that. They do have a free 1-year subscription for it. If you want to try that, all you have to do is log in and register at the Autodesk website under the Fusion 360 tab, and you can get access to the full version of the entire program for an entire year. After that year is up, if you go back in there and it's going to say, hey, you need to upgrade, you can either purchase the demo or purchase the full version. I don't remember off the top of my head what the price of the full version of 360 is, but excuse me. I have not yet purchased the full version because I have not, I don't want to say felt comfortable with it yet, but we will get there. I promise. We'll purchase the full version and go from there. And then if the Fusion 360 series goes really well, then maybe we'll dabble into some Autodesk Inventor. But anyways, Autodesk is kind of the world leading manufacturer, as you will, of softwares that create things in 3D space. Well, not all of them are 3D space, but there's the vast majority of them are in 3D space. Autodesk Inventor is what I learned on years ago, and so that's what I'm familiar with, and that's why I like Fusion 360 so much, because it shares a lot of the same qualities and properties. So anyways, with the Fusion 360, if you've never done any type of 3D modeling or any type of, graphic design or anything like that, it is kind of hard to catch on. But once you do, it actually goes pretty quick. So for those of you that have never done anything in 3D modeling or 3D space whatsoever, we're going to go through some, do you have more than one channel? Zen. Yes, we do have more than one channel, actually. We've got the MisFit Studios main channel, which is what we're streaming on right now, and we've got MisFit Gaming, which is actually a fairly young channel. It's got not a whole lot of subscribers. We just recently put it up, and it's for a lot of our games, because the vast majority of everybody here at MisFit Studios we play a lot of games, and so we wanted to, or excuse me, MisFit Entertainment, and we wanted to sit down and have a place to put a lot of our entertaining clips, entertaining videos, shorts. We are in the works of, building a short right now too. So, go over and subscribe to that channel too. If there's some stuff that you guys want to see entertainment wise, whether it's, 3D animations or 3D modeling, that kind of thing, we have a place for that too. And then yes, Steven put a link to our secondary channel too. So anyways, Fusion 360, if you've never done anything in 3D space, then this is definitely something that you're going to want to pay attention to if you're interested in it. Yes, Steven, I know I've corrected myself. It is MisFit Entertainment and not MisFit Gaming. I apologize. But anyways, moving around in 3D space in Fusion 360, middle mouse button is going to give you the ability to pan. And if you hold down Shift, it'll give you the ability to rotate. Now, the interesting thing about rotating in 360 in Fusion is wherever your mouse starts when you click your middle mouse button. So while holding down Shift, wherever your mouse starts, click middle mouse button, it will rotate around the origin. So it doesn't matter where your mouse is at. It will rotate around that origin until you have an object, and then you're able to move around with the mouse. And we'll get there. Now, up here in this top right, you can actually see there's a little transparent cube. When I move my mouse over it, it'll give you little highlights. And what that's doing is it's actually giving you the ability to change where the camera is sitting. And so it gives you, the top right, front, right, left, back, and you can change the direction or change what you're looking at, as opposed to, holding Shift and rotating that way. So when you are 3D modeling in Fusion 360, you have to think about, obviously, what you're going to be building. I either recommend starting out with objects that you already have, especially objects that, don't have any curves in them. Start out with, things that are very, very cube-shaped, rectangles, have very sharp corners. And then I would really invest in either an inexpensive set of calipers. They don't have to be digital, fancy, or anything like that. They can be just manual calipers, or a ruler. And what that's going to do is, if you have an object that you want to 3D model, which we're going to just a random object, what you're going to want to do is you're going to take measurements around every single, width, diameter, height. You can, this has got radiuses on the corners. And so the fillets are really kind of hard to measure unless you've got a fillet gauge. And if you've ever seen a fillet gauge, they're really cool. I don't have one in the office right now, or I'd show you. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go ahead and show you kind of the very, very basics of getting an object brought to life. I don't have any schematics, I don't think. And so we kind of have to wing it, maybe. I just want to look. Bear with me. I'm sorry. You can get schematics on the internet anywhere you want, really. It's just, Google technical drawings or you know, things like that. And it'll give you a front, top, and a side view. And then it'll give you dimensions on just about any dimension that you're going to need. It does not look like I have any saved, unfortunately. Thanks, Steven. Wasn't really all that, you know, prepared for Fusion 360 today. No, I don't. That's okay. We can just kind of wing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a sketch, and it's going to give us the option to figure out what plane we want to start that sketch. I usually start the sketch on the bottom, of course, and then build from the bottom to the top, especially when you are, you know, doing something very complicated or, you know, have a lot of different parts. This is going to be a single object, one part, and it's just going to be a cube. Very, very simple. Up here on the top left, there is all of your sketch shapes. And we're going to go ahead and click the 2-point triangle, left click where you want the triangle to start, and then you can either let go of the mouse and type in dimensions, which I highly recommend. This is actually in millimeters, and so we're going to change it to inches just real fast, which you go over to the document settings, bring down this little guy, and then you click on the settings menu, and it'll bring up your units that you can change to inches, just like that. It's pretty simple. So let's go ahead and zoom in, which is, of course, mouse wheel in and mouse wheel back, and a 2-point rectangle. And we're going to make this 6 inches. So we type in 6 and then tab, which will get us to the other bracket, which is going to be our height, and type 6 inches as well, and then click enter. This is going to give us a 6x6 square. This is on a single plane, so it's not 3-dimensional. What we want to do now is we actually want to extrude this and give it a 3rd dimension. So we're going to go ahead and click in the middle of it, which is going to highlight this plane, or this face rather, and we're going to hit the hotkey E, which is extrude. We're going to hold down our shift key and rotate with middle mouse button, just kind of to give you an idea what's happening. You can either manually grab this arrow and drag this up, which is highly inaccurate, but I do not recommend. Or you can type in the dimensions of height. We're going to do a 6x6 cube, just like that. So this is going to be 6 inches by 6 inches by 6 inches tall. And that's the very basics of creating an object in Fusion 360. That is as basic as it gets. But at the same time, those steps that I just went through, you will do those steps hundreds, if not thousands of times during a single model, because that is how you have to look at building things. So I actually want to take this cube and I want to make it into like a little set of stairs. So I want to have little cutbacks and stuff like that. And so what we're doing is we build an entire shape that is actually larger than the final shape. The outermost dimensions, I know I'm getting kind of complicated here. The outermost dimensions are going to remain the same. So it's still going to be 6x6x6, but there is going to be a section of this cut out. So what we want to do now is we actually want to sit on the right side. We're going to go ahead and highlight our right face, and we want to create sketch. You can do it backwards too. You can create sketch and then click what face you want to start on. It's completely up to you. So we know that this cube is, or as this face is 6 inches by 6 inches, okay? And so we kind of want to cut this in half. So what we're going to do is we're going to click L, or you can come up here and click line. And we're just going to draw a line from this top right corner all the way down here to the bottom left. And as you can see, we've got 8.485 inches in length and 135 degrees in starting from 0, obviously, in the angle. So it's going to be a 45-degree just backwards, because if we go to this direction to this corner, of course, it's showing 90 because it's measuring off the line that's vertical. So now that we've got our 2 sections, the section that we're actually going to be removing and the section that we're going to be keeping, we're just giving a middle reference. And so what we can do now is we're going to re-click the line. And what's going to happen is when you get to the dead center, just hover over the top, you can see a little triangle, a blue triangle that shows up. And that's going to let you know on any line you're on, whether you're over on this line, the bottom line, even if we have a random line that's not really connected to anything, it will show the direct center of that line. From this point to this point, it'll give us a center to there. And just, of course, just like most any program, if you Control-Z will undo the last operation. So we're going to go ahead and click L, and we're going to try and find the direct center, which is right there. So we're going to create another horizontal line from the direct center of this line, which should match up to the direct center of the back face, or to the right line to the right. And we're now going to put in another line that's going to come up and meet here. And the way I'm doing this is really kind of quick, and it's not very precise. I will be putting up a video on how to do this properly. I'm not saying this is improperly, but if you're going to do something that needs quite a bit of precision, this is definitely not the way to do that. So like I said, we want to make, little stairs. They don't have to be perfect. I just want to show you. And actually, how long is this line? You can actually go up to our inspect and click the 2 lines above and below it, and it's going to give us a dimension of 1.5 inches. And so we now know that this step is 1.5 inches tall. And so if we click our line again, make sure that we're at 90 degrees and type in 1.5, these 2 steps are now going to be the same length. And we can do the exact same thing with the width. We can click our measure in our inspect drop down, click this line and click this line, and it is now 1.5 in width too. So they are going to be squares, they're going to be perfect squares. We're going to go ahead and hit our L key again and come over 1.5 and down 1.5 should be the bottom. Yep. So that gives us our steps. We can actually go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and leave this top one because I do want it to remain 6 inches tall as well. And we want to get rid of this line here. If this was a continuous line, we could actually just use the trim tool and trim this off right here, which you can do that, but it gives you an error saying that, hey, that was a line by itself. There was nothing to trim. And so the right way to do that is just to highlight it and click delete. It'll get rid of it. And we're going to delete. I think that's all we need. We're going to go ahead and trim that line up too. So hit the T, or hotkey for it is T, or you can click the trim tool here. Go ahead and click that. And now what we want to do is we actually want to remove all of this material here to give us our, little steps, or more of a little steps that's 1.5 inches shorter than I said it was going to be initially. And so holding shift, I'm go ahead and highlight this entire area. Go ahead and hit the E hotkey for extrude, and it's going to give us our little extrude menu. Now we're not adding material, we're actually subtracting material. And so to do that, what we want to do is you can do one of 2 things. You can either grab this here, or you can type in a negative value like -6, because we already know that this base is 6 inches wide. And so we know the distance. But let's say that we didn't know the distance, and instead of doing a bunch of math to try and figure out how far this face is from this face, then what we can do is we can go extent type, go down to object, and we can actually flip this around and click this face over here, and it will extend from this face to this face. Go ahead and click OK, and we have now removed the section that we drew out. And the exact same thing can be done on any one of these faces. You can sketch on any one of these. This is just a way of modeling it. So let's go ahead and sketch on this face, and we're going to go ahead and drill a hole. And we want to find the exact center of this square. So if we grab our circle tool, we can actually, if we highlight these corners, it should give us the center is right here. We might have to put some construction lines in to get the center. Oh, maybe not. It worked. There we go. So if you run your mouse, and I'm not saying this works all of the time, but the easiest way to do this is actually to throw in some construction lines. I just wanted to see if this was going to work, and it does. And so these blue dotted lines that just kind of pop up show us that this is the center of this. And so of course it's no longer 6 by 6. I think it is a little less than that tall. So anyways, construction lines. I know I'm really bouncing around, and I'm sorry if you're trying to follow along. We're just kind of really going through this really kind of sloppy. Go ahead and hit the L key for the hotkey for lines, and we're going to hit X, which is going to turn this line type from center line over to construction. What a construction line is it's just a reference line. So if we take this and grab our diagonal, this is going to give us the very center of this square. We only really need one, but right that point right there is going to give us the very center of this face. If we go back to our circle, and we're still on construction, as you can see. So if we hit the X again, it'll give us back to our center line, which is, just think of it as a construction line. Sloppy, yes, Nate. Thank you, Nate. I was not aware that it's all over the place and sloppy. Just a 3-inch diameter circle. And you can leave the construction lines. Sloppy just look like. Okay, you guys. Anyways, you can leave the construction lines in there. They're going to go away the moment we finish the sketch. And so we can actually, instead of hitting the E key to extrude whatever highlighted or whatever object we have highlighted, you can actually just go ahead and click Finish Sketch. And it's going to give us the ability to change, or the ability to highlight what faces we want to change. So we're going to go ahead and highlight our circle, hit the E key to extrude, and we're going to make this drill, or this hole, go all the way through to this other side. So again, make sure that this is highlighted. We're going to come over here and go to Object, and then click this bottom face here, which is going to cut out that entire circle just like that. And we now have a part that has 3.5 inch tall steps by 1.5 inch wide and a 3-inch diameter hole drilled through the center of it. What this part is for, couldn't tell you. But it really didn't take all that long. Made 10 minutes with me explaining it. Once you get this down, it goes really, really quick. And there is a whole ton more that I haven't even remotely come close to, explaining or going over. Linda with the subscription, thank you so much. That really helps out. I don't think she's on the stream. I think she just subbed to the channel, but that's okay. We appreciate it anyways. And so, like I said, there's a lot of different, I'm just not going to read chat out loud now. There's a lot of different things that you can do in the 3D portion of when you're modeling. But what I highly recommend is first start to understand the sketching and how constraints work, especially when you are building a part that you are going to either manufacture physically, have somebody 3D print, or somebody CNC machine. If you're doing this, obviously for commercial purposes, you're going to be using a, for commercial use key for it and not a personal use. But if you're just learning, then this is definitely what you're going to want to be. This unsaved data, of course, if we exit out of this, it's going to wipe all this. But I don't believe we're going to be saving this. But, excuse me, just some of the cool little tools that are over here. Of course, press and pull, which is going to be our just a real simple press and pull. It's basically extruding an entire face that you select without the tools or the the little settings that you can change on distance and that kind of thing. The fillet, of course, just like the name suggests, it's going to fillet the edge. And so to give it a radius, this has got a 0 radius. Let's put a 1 inch radius on that. And it's going to give us a preview of what that will look like. And if you hit enter, it will give us that radius. Now, if you want to do multiple corners, you can actually go ahead to that fillet and you can select as many as you want. You don't have to hold down shift or anything. You just select. And I accidentally selected a face. That's also the nice thing about this, is if you select something on accident, all you have to do is click it again and it will deselect without deselecting everything else that you've selected. And then up here on the top is going to give us our dimension. So if we do 0.5, because I think just like that gives us kind of a one of those slides at the carnival that is basically a death trap, if you guys remember those. So if we, move this here, and just angle it up a little bit. Oh, I have it stationary, so it's not going to move. So I have a constraint on it, so it won't rotate. But that's okay. I was just trying to rotate that back a little. Did you check the AutoCAD stuff on Humble Bundle yet? Yes, I did, and I have never heard of a shampoo. Is that what's on Humble Bundle right now? A shampoo, something like that. I've never heard of that program. I guess we could look. A shampoo, we make software. Is this it? Pretty sure it is. This isn't going to have the Humble Bundle on it, of course. Yeah, sounds right. Yeah, there was like a lot of add-on packs and stuff on that. I mean, if you want to, if we could put up a link to the Humble Bundle. Yeah, we don't want push notifications for this. Because there is a deal on Humble Bundle right now for a lot of a shampoo products. System optimization, universal PDF editor, music maker, Magix. Is Magix behind it? I looked into it, and it seems like it's specific to houses and house building. Oh, okay. All right. So it's like a an Autodesk Revit, which is a architectural program from Autodesk. I've got some experience in Revit too. I mean, I think it was like Autodesk Revit 2007 or 2008 was the last version that I used. So it's been a minute. But yeah, like I said, I couldn't give a review or anything on a shampoo. I've never heard of it. Thank you, Sean. Huh. Interesting. So yes, that is in a nutshell a horrible way to explain how to use Autodesk Fusion 360 in 25 minutes. No, I'll have a series coming out for the Autodesk Fusion 360 series that we're going to go step by step. It's going to be quite a lot of videos, but by the end of it, you'll know how to use a program. So, is anybody have anything that they wanted me to touch on? And no, not you, like personally, subjects that we cover on the channel, please. And that was a great question from, I do not remember, Zen. It was Zen. He was asking about the second channel. And yes, we do. If you guys want to go over and check out Misfit Entertainment, we do have a link, I think, on our main channel that you can do that. We have a link here in the chat. Please go over and subscribe to that if you are into that kind of thing. If not, we'd love to have you here too. And so, open for questions. I had a little bit of a structure today. I know it was a heck of a lot more structured than it was on our last Q&A. That was kind of a mess. Because I don't want these to run super long, but if we get a whole bunch in here and you want to know some stuff, then by all means. We can't just have Nate and Steven be the only one chatting. Okay, I guess Shecky was here too. Sorry. Let's open up that Humble Bundle. You sure want to leave YouTube? Yes. 3D CAD Professional. Of course, Humble Bundle is a very heavily donation. I don't, GG. Oh, I love you, brother. So yeah, Humble Bundle, of course, is got the shampoo. I think I'm pronouncing that right. A shampoo. What is it that you made? That is a what should we call that? I don't know. It could be a pretty dope-ass looking doorstop if we extended this bottom piece, which we could do right now. Just like that. And then if we sketch this and made it like a point. There, it's a doorstop with a hole in it. To answer your question, Nate, it's a doorstop with a hole in it. Have I said that enough? A thingamabob. No, it's a doorstop with a freaking hole in it. Gah. Yeah, we already talked about Humble Bumble and a shampoo and how I don't know if that's the right pronunciation or not. Well, ladies and gents, I think I'm going to end the stream there. If you guys have any more questions, if you guys have any more comments, concerns, anything, we've got the link to our Discord on the MisFit Studios YouTube channel. We've got a link to our secondary channel. We've got, you know, the comment section on our YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like, comment, do all of that happy fun jazz because it helps us out tremendously here at MisFit Studios. I'm Gorhamian as always, and we will see you guys